It's a man eater.
What you want? What you want?
This is the latest little project. It's pretty quick, pretty simple. Made it out of some supplies from the dollar store. So low budget, pretty cheap. Let me show you how we did it. This man-eating plant starts its life out just like any other, with Dollar Tree Easter eggs and a flower pot, of course. But we need to prep this flower pot with a little bit of concrete, wood, and some wire. What's the concrete for? Well, we're going to weight down the flower pot by gluing the ever-living crap out of the concrete and shoving it in the bottom of our flower pot. And then we'll take that nice little piece of wood right there, add a crazy amount of glue to it, shove it on top, and seal it down. We got to build something. We got to have something to build the frame off of. And then, yes, these Easter eggs, well, they're just a tad bit too shiny. So you're going to want to knock off some of that old shine on there with a little bit of old sandpaper. Get a little roughy so our mache paste and mache can sticky right onto it. Well, now let's get down to business. First thing we're going to do is take a little bit of armature wire there and screw that to that little old wooden base. After that, we're going to take some single little pieces of armature wire and stick them to the sides so we can make some little sprouts coming up the side. We're going to try to put those into place with some super hot burn your fingers off glue that we're all used to doing to set them. It does kind of work, but to help that super burn your fingers off glue, we're going to add a little bit of extra pieces of wire right here. Twist them up nice and tight to help secure those right down to the main wire itself. And then to further secure your pieces of wire to wire, use some masking tape and wrap the whole thing up, well, half the thing up from the bottom to the middle half. Once that is done, we will go ahead and apply the newspaper to all of the wire from the bottom of the base all the way to the top. The newspaper that we are applying now is nothing more than to give our plant some bulk, some size, and some shape. We must have some shape or it will look like nothing. To attach the lower jaw of the plant to the plant, you'll drill a hole through the back of the plant, insert the wire from the plant in the plant, and then use burn your fingers off glue to secure the plant to the plant. Oh, wonderful. Little pieces of poo. Well, poo or not, we're not going to let them go to waste. So we'll take them little old pieces right there, put a little toilet paper or paper towel right around it and a little bit of mache paste. Make these little pieces of poo look more like a tongue for our plant. Then we'll just take them old darn little pieces of wrapped up poo and just glue them right in the bottom of that deal with some super hot burn your fingers off glue, because it does look like a tongue. And then we'll take a little more, paper towel and just put that right down in there with some paper mache paste and coat the old inside. After that's done, we're going to take some good old-fashioned egg carton clay and just cover this little old plant up from the bottom to the top, and then take a paintbrush and a little paste and smooth that on out, right on. Just make it look all pretty. So look at that viney texture. That's a pretty texture right there, if I do say so myself. Now we're just going to take the other half of our old Easter eggs right there and just glue it in with that burn your fingers off glue right to the old top. After that, we got to put a little girth on the back side of that plant, We got to blend that in a little more. And then it's time for everybody's favorite thing. Right, here we go.
Papier-mache.
And now we'll take the paper mache paste, spread it onto our Easter eggs, and then one little strip at a time, lay it down, and put paste over that, over and over again, until we get full coverage of our little Easter eggs in our heads. My gosh, how many people are all up in this head doing this video? I just can't keep track of nothing now, but I'll tell you what, right here, we took some of this what you call this? This was tissue paper right here. It really makes a pretty cool texture. So we put that all up on in there, looking pretty good right there. If I do say so myself, I mean, that is looking really good. And I don't know who's coming up next, but we just never know. But that's some good texture on that right there. I have to say the old texture looks pretty good on that, but right now, she just looks like a plant someone just needs a whole bunch of snot all over the top of. And then to make it look a little more natural, we'll take some egg carton clay and build in from the top of the head down onto the stem, just to blend it in and make it look more like a plant. Looky here, fella, you better best be getting out of my head. Check out what I made off camera. We got ourselves some little old viney legs to put on this little old plant right here. I think it was gonna look pretty good. Sorry, just did that all off camera. But now let's just let this old thing dry and we'll move on to painting. Alright, so I'll just be square up honest with you. I wasn't sure what I was really going to do with the paint here. What I did start out with just a little straight green right onto all these pods. After I got them good and coated with this green, then I lightened it up using some yellow mixed into that, and then I kind of just lightened this thing up on the top sides and underneath. Kind of the further I went up, the lighter I made the green. I added whites and things into it to lighten that green up more and more, so I got some kind of a transition going on. I did a little bit of painting off camera. Let me just show you where we're at. I really just dry brushed this purple color, across all those ridges. And the mouth, I went with a little bit of purple too, and then did some pink color for the tongue. That's what we did off camera. Anyway, from this point, paint this up. I really wasn't sure. I kind of like this brown color, but it needs to separate a little bit. Most everything I've seen, the vines are like a green color anyway. So I think I'm going to base this in a dark green, and then maybe from there I will do some browns over the top of it and see how that looks, and then maybe some other greens too, lighter ones. I don't know. I'm just going to play this one by ear, and you guys can follow me along, and we will see if it doesn't look like total crap when it's done. So I'm not even going to really try to tell you what I did here. We did some greens, and then I did some browns over the top of that. Didn't really like that, and then went back with some darker greens and lighter greens, and just kind of back and forth. I had no real plan, didn't really know what I was doing, so I'm not even going to try to tell you how to paint your stem, because I completely winged the whole thing. And you can kind of see the greens in there, kind of can't, but it did turn out pretty decent. Wasn't too upset with the paint job. Well, yeah, set the camera up and I continue on painting and didn't hit record, so I'll kind of whatever. Lost footage. I'll show you what I did. Pretty much I had gone on with some pretty dark greens and stuff, and then came up with some lighter greens, and then lightened it up even more with some whites to kind of get it this, I don't know, kind of frosty color. And then I kind of did it right down here on the ends of the roots. It's hard to see on the camera, but there are all kinds of different shades of green in this. I'm pretty happy with this guy. He's looking pretty cool. To finish him off, we've got some Spanish moss. And I'm just going to run a lot of hot glue around on here and just smash the Spanish moss down into this. Kind of cover that base up, and we're going to call it good. all in all, that was a pretty easy project, right? Just cheap big Easter eggs from the dollar store, a little bit of wire, and a little cheap flower pot from the dollar store too. You know, $4 or $5 worth of materials from the dollar store, wrapped up with a little bit of paper mache and some paper mache egg carton clay, and there it is, man. You got yourself a freaking man-eating plant. As easy as that. You paint it up however you want it. Make it look as crazy or as interesting or whatever that appeals to you. But that's a pretty quick, easy project that doesn't take a whole lot of prep. So it's kind of fun. If you enjoy watching these videos, man, smash that like button. That stuff does help out. The algorithm likes that stuff. Share it if you got other people that that like to create things. Share it to videos. Show it your friends. Whatever. If you want to help out more than that, consider joining up as a patron. A link will be in the description below. As always, I always want to thank all my patrons. Right now, you should see everybody who's rolling up who are active patrons, and you guys that are out there. I really, really, really appreciate all of you guys that help support. Also, this shirt isn't looking too good. It's an old one, but there's a link to the shop down below if you want to help out as well or support as well. You can always think about buying an Unhinged t-shirt, and maybe one of these days we'll do a different design. Something I should probably do. But until next time, keep making something from nothing.